Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your very first time being here. On this channel, we talk about saving money, personal finance, and frugal living, which is exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. So in this video, I'm going to be going through some different things that I do not do as a frugal person. If you resonate with any of these things, or if I miss some and there's some things that you don't do as a frugal person, make sure to leave me a comment down below because I love chatting with you guys in the comments and getting extra frugal tips. Although it's the beginning of April, I do live in Nova Scotia, Canada, so when I woke up this morning and looked out the window, there was snow on the ground and it was -4 degrees. So I thought today would be the perfect day to put on a pot of chicken soup. It smells so good just simmering over there. I lit a few candles and put on my cozy thrifted sweater, and I wanted to sit down and chat with you guys today, talk about some frugal habits, some money saving tips, so let's jump in. So the first thing that I do not do as a frugal person is buy bottled water or any type of bottled drink, really. I have to be very thirsty and very desperate to buy a bottled drink when I'm out. Normally what I do is I just take my reusable water bottle with me, or I'll just wait until I get home to get a glass of water or a glass of something else. I just think it's so ridiculous, the prices of bottled drinks, especially water, when you can just get it so easily for free at home. I remember this one time I went to the movie theaters and I wanted to get a small pop to go with my popcorn. Now I know the movies are on another level, everybody knows the movies are really expensive, but I was thinking to myself, how much could a small pop really be? I want to treat myself, it's okay if I have to spend a couple of dollars. So I went up to the concession stand and I asked for that small pop, and the worker told me that it was going to be $4.60. Now I know I said I was in the mood to treat myself, but I just could not bring myself to spend $4 on a small fountain drink. So I literally said, you know what, I think I changed my mind, I'm good. And at the time, the movie theater that I was at was actually in a mall. So I quickly ran out of the movie theater and I went to a drugstore and purchased a $1 bottle of water. I know I said I don't normally spend money on bottled drinks, but I thought $1 was better than $4.60. So that's just a little example of how I will try and save any amount of money on drinks when I'm out. If you are in a position where you're out of the house, but you're really thirsty, something you can do is run to a local fast food restaurant and just ask for a cup of tap water. Most times that will be free and you don't have to spend money on bottled water or a fountain drink. Something else that I do not do as a frugal person is spend money while I'm at work if I can help it. So this is a habit that I developed years ago when I first started working. I got my first job and I was being paid $10 an hour. I was working at a grocery store and I quickly realized that if I was spending money while I was working, that actually meant that I was making less money. So if I was making $10 an hour, but on my break, I spent $10 on a bag of chips, a candy bar, or a bottle of pop, something like that. I basically just worked that hour for free. So as I began my working career, I made sure to spend the least amount of money possible while I was working so that I could make as much money as possible. And that habit I still use today whenever I'm out on the go, working my job that I have now. I still try and spend as little money as possible. So I'll bring snacks with me, I'll bring a bottle of water, I'll bring my lunch if I'm gonna be out of the house for the day, and it has saved me so much money over the years. As a frugal person, I do not live paycheck to paycheck. I always make sure I have a little bit of money in my checking account as a buffer just in case I need it. I also have various savings accounts where I have different amounts of money for different things, one of those being an emergency fund just in case I need that money. You never know what can happen. Now, as I say this, that I don't live paycheck to paycheck, I want to make it clear that I was not always like this. I was not always in the position I am now. Back when I was going to school and I was in university, I was definitely living paycheck to paycheck, and I remember how stressful that was, just waiting for payday, not knowing if you were going to make it or not. If you are someone who's in that paycheck to paycheck cycle right now, just know that it is possible to get out of it. All it takes is motivation, a little bit of creativity, and sometimes for the short term, you do have to do something like get a second job, but trust me, it is so worth it when you do get out of that cycle. We all know how expensive it is to eat out at restaurants, and when you're watching a money-saving video on YouTube or reading a blog article all about saving, the first thing they'll always tell you is to eat at home and avoid eating out at restaurants. So yes, that is true. You're gonna save a lot of money if you constantly eat at home, but sometimes it's nice to treat ourselves and to go out with our partner or our families to a restaurant. And even if you do want to do this, there are ways to save money when you're eating out at restaurants. So something that I never do as a frugal person is order an appetizer or a drink at a restaurant. If I'm going to be going out and spending that money, I try and keep it as reasonable as possible by just paying for my meal. I'll skip the appetizers, the drinks, and the desserts. Back in 2015, when I was a university student and I was still living with roommates, I had a roommate who would always buy things and then just return them right after. So she would go shopping almost daily, and if she saw something that she wasn't sure if she actually wanted it or not, she would still buy it and then just return it a couple days later. I remember thinking this was so strange because when I go out and I buy something, I am absolutely sure that I want that thing and I don't return it unless it's broken or there's something wrong with it. So as a frugal person, I do not buy things with the intent to just return them later. I think it's kind of risky to just rely on returns to always get your money back. You might forget to return something, or maybe you take it back to the store and there's an issue with the store, they won't give you your money back. So it's always better to just be sure when you're purchasing something rather than buying it and hoping that you can return it later. Now, don't get me wrong, if you buy something and you bring it home and it's not working the way it's supposed to, by all means, return that item and get your money back. But I'm more so talking about the people that go to the mall, spend a couple $100s on clothes, and think, well, it's not a big deal. If I don't like it in a couple weeks, I'll just return it. Because sometimes what happens is, like I said, you forget to return those items or you lose a receipt or something like that, and then it's just money down the drain. All right, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you for a second and tell you one of the ways that you're probably wasting money. If you're going to the grocery store and you don't have a meal plan in mind, you are absolutely wasting money. When I was younger and I was first starting out grocery shopping, I was getting used to doing that by myself without my family's help. I would go grocery shopping and pick up a whole bunch of random ingredients, and then I would come home and try and build meals out of that. What would normally happen is I would come up with a meal idea out of some of the ingredients that I had picked up, but I realized that I also needed this, and this. So I had to go back to the grocery store and spend extra money that I didn't have to if I had just gone grocery shopping with a meal plan in mind. So as a frugal person, I always go food shopping with a meal plan that I created around what is on sale that week. That is another tip that I always share that I think works so well when you're trying to save money on food, is browse some flyers while you're coming up with your meal plan and base your meal plan around what is on sale. So for example, if ground beef is on sale that week, then you're going to be having tacos for dinner, or maybe romaine lettuce is on sale that week, so you can also have a Caesar salad. So I take one day of the week, usually Sundays, I sit down and I build my meal plan, and then the next day on Monday, I'll run out to the store and I'll buy all of the food that I need that I wrote down for my meal plan, and then I'm set for the rest of the week. I know exactly what I'm eating and I don't have to spend extra money on forgotten ingredients. As a frugal person, I do not spend money on expensive activewear brands or exercise clothes, or I guess just clothes in general, because I've mentioned before that I buy all of my clothes secondhand at thrift shops. But specifically, I wanted to talk about activewear and exercise clothing in this video because I think this type of clothing is very popular for people to spend a lot of money on. I'll see different YouTube videos about people trying out the newest Lululemon collection or Gymshark collection. And I think if you're someone who really enjoys exercise and going to the gym and you're really caught up in that culture, it can be easy to spend a lot of money on exercise clothes. The other day I went into Lululemon and I was looking at the prices and I was just shocked at the amount of money that people are willing to pay for a pair of black leggings. Normally what I'll do is if I see a clothing piece at a place like Lululemon that I really like, is I'll take note of the name and then I'll come home and I'll do a quick Google search and see what kind of comparable brands and items there are out there. Most times Amazon will always have a comparable dupe that's like half the price. So the other day my husband Aaron and I were doing the dishes together and he came across an empty butter tub. So he he was drying it and then he looked at me and he was like, wait, why am I drying this butter tub? I'm just gonna throw it in the recycling. And I was like, no, you're not. I love using that butter tub for things. You never know when you're gonna need an extra container or an extra jar. And this is something that we argue about quite often in our marriage, is how big of a hoarder, I guess you could say, I am when it comes to extra containers and jars. I just don't like to throw things out if I can find another use for them. So as a frugal person, I do not throw anything out until I find another use for it. Whether that's an old towel or an old t-shirt, something like that, I'll always find a way to repurpose it. Leave me a comment down below if you're the same when it comes to old jars or containers. You just never know when they might come in handy, so it's always better to keep them. That's what I always say anyway. The next thing that I do not do as a frugal person is actually something that I covered in my last video as well, all about how minimalism saves me money, and that is not going to the store just because or just to browse. If I'm going to the store, I'm going because I have a purpose and I need something specific. If I have some free time or I'm just bored, you will never find me at the mall or just out walking around a store, because that is a good way to spend money that you do not need to spend. When you go out to a store to browse, or you tell yourself that you're just gonna go window shopping, you're always gonna see something that you want and something that's gonna tempt you to spend unnecessary money. So that's why it's always best to just avoid going shopping if you don't actually need something specific. This next statement is gonna be hard for some people to hear. Even if something is on sale, if you don't actually need it, you're not getting a deal. As a frugal person, I will not shop sales unless it's something that I actually need or really want. If something is on clearance and I'm only buying it because I'm getting a discount, I'm still out money, and it would be better for me to just not buy that thing and save the money in the first place. As a frugal person, I do not shop at convenience stores for the obvious reasons. Everything there is so overpriced, and you can pretty much always get it cheaper somewhere else. I'm gonna be honest, I think this is more of just a cheap thing than a frugal thing, but for whatever reason, when I'm out and I have to put gas in my car, I will never fill the gas tank completely full. I think this is just a habit that's left over from when I was younger and I didn't have very much money, so I would always only put $20, sometimes only $15 worth of gas in my gas tank. As a frugal person who uses social media, I do not follow TikTokers, Instagrammers, or YouTubers that make content around spending money. So you know the type of channels that I'm talking about, the videos all about Amazon must-haves or summer clothing haul videos. And although there's nothing wrong with this, if you're interested in that type of content, then that's awesome and you can watch that. But for me and my interests and my passions, I like watching videos all about saving money and personal finance, sustainability, things that I also talk about on my channel, things that will motivate me to move closer to my goals and what I find important in life. All right, everyone, so there is a big list of a bunch of things that I do not do as a frugal person. Make sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know something that you don't do as a frugal person. I would love to hear it and chat with you guys in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and also hit the red subscribe button. It's totally free and you can join our little YouTube family. We would love to have you. Down below in the description box, I have some links that you might be interested in, my Instagram, my Etsy shop, some other videos that you might like to watch, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!